as a country, India has made a world reputation in terms of high capability software development, and we are really leveraging that to build a company which is software differentiated hardware products which are becoming very successful in the market. Second thing I want to talk about is the data. If you really see, and I'm sure in the last 6 to 9 months, all of us have experienced what really data means in terms of how lives are getting transformed, how people are using mobile phones, smartphones, and so on. So as far as our business is concerned, we are kind of agnostic to who generates data. It could be a 2G phone, 3G phone, 4G, it could be a home, it could be a entertainment system, it could be cloud services, IoT, machine to machine, whatever. So as far as we are concerned, whether it's 2G, 3G, 4G or 5G, we will have the equipment, and we do have our equipment which can automatically and easily and cost efficiently carry data from point A to point B. So in that sense, the technology or who the generation or the user of data doesn't matter to us, except that the more data that gets generated, the better for our business, because it allows us to build higher capacity backbones. So that's one part I wanted to talk about. Second part I also wanted to talk about is that in India, for example, a lot of the networks so far were built mostly for carrying voice. Now going forward, as we all know, a significant part of the growth in the Indian telecom industry will be on data. So from our customers' perspective, who are telcos, a significantly larger portion of their capex or capital investment is now going to be coming into building a higher capacity data infrastructure, which will again be on optical transmission equipment of the kind that we do. So that is another thing I wanted to highlight, that while the industry is going to be focusing more on data, and they will have a shift of their capex in terms of the total capex, a significantly larger portion is expected to come into the optical transmission part, which is what we enable. As a global company, we also look at what is our global addressable market. So for the equipment that we design and manufacture, it's a $16 billion per year industry growing at a rate of about 6%. And in the segment of the business that we operate, which is the optical aggregation, we're very proud to say that we are number 6 in the world, competing against all the global players. And the reason for worldwide demand of data or optical transmission going up is again data. So people, you need to lay that infrastructure and then put the electronics. And wherever there's optical fiber infrastructure, you have to increase the capacity of the network. So there's a capacity increase driver, and then there's a reach driver in terms of penetrating more fiber into the network. Both of them together, we believe that we are in a long-term cycle of optical infrastructure growth, because the data is going to be growing for a very long period of time to come. Now let's come closer to home in India. So in India, if you see in the last 18 months or more specifically in the last 12 months, there's been significant increase in the use of data on smartphones. As a result of which the amount of traffic in the networks has dramatically increased. Now one interesting thing which happened in India is, because there was a lot of focus initially on getting voice customers, the way the networks in India have got built is that a majority of the cell towers are currently connected on a microwave radio, and only 20% of the cell towers have a fiber optic connectivity. Now what that meant is that microwave technology is good enough when you're carrying voice, but when you have to have data, the microwave technology cannot scale up to the right level, and that is why you need a fiber optic infrastructure. So you will certainly see that this 20% of cell sites which are on fiber have to increase to a significantly larger number. And just to give you a sense of where other countries in the world are, China, for example, have around 80% of their cell towers connected to micro fiber, and US is around 90%. And as a result, there's a lot of pent-up demand for upgrading the infrastructure on optical fiber in India. And as a result, as per OVM, which is the world's leading market research firm in this business, India is going to be the world's fastest market in terms of optical equipment and optical infrastructure growth, because A, we have a very large size market, and secondly, because there has been underspending on optical infrastructure, there's going to be a lot more infrastructure investment going forward. And that is again something where we are feeling that there's a lot of opportunities in terms of growth. The next one is, in addition to what the operators on the private side are going to do in terms of building higher capacity networks, especially in the cities, because the intercity connectivity is there, but within the metros and within the towns, the fiber infrastructure is not there. The government of India also has two very interesting and very large and ambitious projects, which are very important from the country's point of view. As a part of the Digital India program, which everybody talks about, there is a project called BharatNet, where 250,000 villages or gram panchayats are being connected to the nearest block or tehsil on optical fiber infrastructure, which is using the transmission equipment that we design and manufacture. So that is certainly going to convert a significant part of India, the rural India, which is not yet connected. It is connected on 2G, but that's not enough for all the digital services and all the future services. So that entire rural infrastructure is being funded by the Government of India. Government of India is also funding smart cities. And again, the backbone of smart cities is again going to be an optical network, because the amount of data that the smart cities will generate, the video surveillance, all the machine and everything else. So there's a huge demand that the Government of India is going to create in terms of the spend in optical fiber infrastructure from rural perspective as well in the smart cities. And the private operators in India are of course going to upgrade their network, which were primarily for voice in the past, to data going forward. So the two together, we feel there's a lot of excitement in the Indian market. Secondly, as a part of the Make in India program, Government of India again has some interesting schemes called preferential market access, which basically says that if there's an Indian product available for any government funded project, they would buy that. And again, we as an Indian company where the products are designed and manufactured in India have an advantage of those preferential market schemes of Government of India. So as a result, if you can see, India is possibly going to be one of the most exciting markets in the world, which is transforming from a voice-based infrastructure to data-based infrastructure, and optical transmission equipment of the kind that we do is going to be enabling that. So that is something which I just wanted to mention. Whatever is happening in India is also happening in Southeast Asia, in Africa and Latin America, because those countries also have India-like needs. So success in India is a very, very good reference point in those countries which are going to be very high growth market. And as Tejas, we are also focusing in addition to India into those markets. In terms of products, so what do we do in our products which is different than our global competitors, which are much larger in size, and why do we win, and why have we won all the customers in India and around the world in 60 countries? So the reason is very simple. Going forward, the telecom equipment, the significant part of the technology differentiator of a telecom equipment comes from software. And what Tejas has done is very unique in terms of the product architecture, where we have taken the hardware which I mentioned earlier, and we have the capability to reprogram the chips which are inside. So we use something called programmable silicon chips. So we can actually reprogram the chips where, for instance, the same equipment could be used for carrying 2G, for 3G and 4G and now 5G in future. So being able to reprogram the chips at the hardware level and then having the software layer on top, which allows you to have all the flexibility, we are able to create an equipment where the operators have a lot of flexibility, they can upgrade capacity, they can add new features, and from our point of view, there's a lot of design reuse as well as time to market advantage, because when you do things in software, you can do it much faster than you can do it in hardware. So really, when the balance of power, if you were to, has shifted from hardware to software in the telecom equipment space, that is really what we are able to leverage quite efficiently and basically take advantage of our presence in India, which is a large home market, as well as a lot of technology based in terms of software professionals. I also wanted to mention that there's a lot of IPR we have generated. So when I talk of these programmable chips, we have more than 250 silicon IPs or intellectual property blocks, which are think of 250 chips that we have created. We filed more than 333 patents, and we are among the largest patent filers in the entire ICT industry in India, and many of them are global patents. And all of this means we are, by the way, for example, also participating in the 5G standardization efforts in the world. So really we have to track the latest standards, you have to use IPR, you have to use technology, you have to use your capabilities in India, and really build a world-class product company which is not just successful in India but all around the world as well. In terms of our product and quality, I must mention, we are in the business where reliability of the equipment is extremely important, and we are very proud to say that we have a 99.999% reliability, which means that when our equipment works in the field, and it could be remote parts of anywhere in the world, per year you get less than 15 minutes of downtime. So that gives you the capability of on a continuous operation basis. So that is the level of quality and reliability one has to build, and we have successfully done that. We are also one of the few companies in India which is a TL9000 certification, which is kind of the gold standard in terms of telecom equipment around the world, and is recognized as a high standard of quality. So we have really built high quality, highly reliable, latest technology and cost competitive, because India has been one of the most cost competitive and toughest market in the world, and despite having competitors from around the world, we have been able to successfully win a lot of customers and establish a base. Let me now talk of the fourth aspect which I mentioned, which is the business model of a product company in the tech sector in India. So really, we all know that one of the big factors for India's success in the IT services has been cost arbitrage, where you could do something for $100 in the US, you could do it for much lesser number of dollars in India. We have been able to take advantage of the same high quality but cost effective R&D talent, and we have lots of very capable people in the country. And in fact, in Tejas, we have 600 people, as I mentioned, in the total company. We have 310 in R&D. And many of our initial R&D people, architects, are people like myself, Arnab and others, who chose to come back to India after studying in India, studying in the US, working for many years. And that makes the core foundation of our team. And subsequent to that, we've been hiring top talent from all the premier institutes in India. So R&D and technology is something which is our forte, except that because we are in India, we are able to do a significantly large amount of R&D for the same dollar compared to any company in the Western world. As a result, our R&D efficiency is much higher. Secondly, because of our unique approach of taking a programmable architecture, programmable silicon, programmable hardware approach, which is what we call software-defined hardware approach, we are able to do a lot more efficiently because there's a lot of reuse of design. Secondly, our manufacturing we again have taken a very interesting model in terms of how we manufacture our products. So rather than setting up all the factories ourselves, we outsource all the manufacturing to contract manufacturers. So in that sense, our business model is similar to Apple, where the actual manufacturing is not done by Apple but done by other companies.